Have you ever heard that you need to give to receive, or there's a pleasure in giving? So there's a very personal question. Do you like getting gifts, or do you like giving them? And the reason I'm asking the question is there's going to come a time in your life where if you are a generous person, you'll be financially successful and you want to help people. And that was always my goal. For me, it was never about the people, that was always about the animals. I love all animals, and I set a goal as a little girl that I wanted to become financially free, financially successful, financially secure, so that I could give unlimited funds to rescue animals that were in trouble. That was a goal I set as a little girl. So when you've got to focus on wealth, when you've got to focus on what you're going to do with your money rather than just collecting money so you can say that you're rich, is it possible that you will attract money into your life because you've got a purpose? So that was my very first goal. I want to be able to raise as much money as possible. And when I say it wasn't as much as possible, because what does your brain do with that? It's not a specific goal. I had a very specific dollar amount that I wanted to be able to give every year. And of course, as I became more financially successful, that amount became larger and larger. I'm sharing that with you because if you are serious about becoming wealthy for the right reasons, and there's a whole heap of people that become wealthy and they sell horrible products and they do horrible things and they steal and they tell lies, and yes, there's lots of yucky people in the world. But if you really focus on becoming wealthy because you want to add value to your world, is it possible that the world will pay you back, which is that if you give, you shall receive? But that's something that I've always been very aware of. I don't want to give so that I can receive. I just want to give. And that's why I love giving to animals, because they don't even know. And I'll go a step further. I learnt the hard way that a lot of charities, most of the money doesn't go to the person that needs the money or the things. Most of the money goes to the admin of the charity, and very little trickles down to the people or the animals that really need it. So then I reset my goals to buy food, to buy blankets, to buy toys, things that animals would love that humans can't use, so humans can't steal those toys. And I share that with the ultimate respect in the art and the joy of giving, is that do we need to be really careful who we give to? Is it possible that there's plenty of takers in the world? There's people who tell you that they're poor. One of the things you'll notice if you ever win lotto, or if you do become financially successful and you never were, it's interesting how many new friends you have and how many people tell you that they're poor and they need help and please can you give me some money and please can I loan some money, and it's a really interesting experience. There's a lot of people that win lotto that don't want anybody to know, because it's a really horrible experience to have all these hundreds of people telling you all their challenges, and how do you know if they're real challenges or if they're just people who want to rip you off or con you? So the joy of giving, and ultimately, how good does that feel? If you have ever given somebody a gift and you knew that they really appreciated it and it added massive value to their life and it made them feel great, is it possible that that's a joy? But I'm standing here with a really interesting background. I always, from a very little girl, I set a goal that I wanted to have a beautiful car, and not because I love cars, but I knew that if I could afford to buy a prestige car or a beautiful sports car, it would mean that I had become financially successful, so I'd be able to help the animals. So that was another part of my goal-setting experience. But because I love that whole process, I then wanted other people to go through that process. So I thought, if I give people a nice car, it might inspire them to work harder and earn more money so that they can afford to buy their own car or buy a car for somebody else. Well, interestingly, and this is not to impress, this is just to express the challenge of giving to people that either don't deserve it, or if you get something for free and you haven't worked hard for it, how does it make you feel? So at one stage, we gave a lot of people some very beautiful cars, some prestigious Italian, European prestige sports cars, and we gave them to a lot of people. And again, I'm not sharing to impress, but what was really interesting, that the people that got those cars, we thought it would inspire them to work harder, and it was exactly the opposite. Because if you haven't earned something, if you got it for free, and there's a great quote for that, if I get it for free, it makes nothing of me. If you buy a beautiful car because you worked your backside off to be able to afford it, and that's exactly what, that was my life. I set a goal, I wanted a beautiful car because I knew that once that would be like the trophy. If I get the trophy, it means I've put in the hard work. The gold medal at the Olympic Games isn't isn't what you want. It's not the gold medal. It's the feeling that you get and the achievement and the training and the discipline and the focus and the commitment to be able to get to the Olympic Games. The trophy then, the gold medal, is just the revelation or the living example that you can look at every day to say, I did the hard work. Well, for me, that's what a beautiful car was, or a beautiful home, or a beautiful piece of jewellery, or whatever. It was never about the thing. It was about, who do I have to become? What do I have to do? How disciplined do I have to be? How hard do I have to work to be able to achieve that thing? And it seems that that is the only way to really appreciate something, if you bought it yourself. Because, again, as an old lady who's given a lot of very expensive things to a lot of people, there was no appreciation. None. No appreciation whatsoever. Because the people that I've given very expensive things to are no longer in my life. And I didn't give them things because I wanted them to be my friends. That wasn't the thing. The point was I wanted them to be really successful so they could go on and pass it forward. I'm sure you've heard that expression. Well, that never happened. Because if you get something, and a lot of people can con you into believing that they work hard or they deserve something special. And again, I learned that the hard way. That a lot of people, once they got a beautiful thing from us, a beautiful gift, they worked even less hard because they felt guilty that they didn't deserve the thing that they got, and they didn't last in our organisation for very long. And there's a lot of argument about what I'm saying, whether it's true or not, but all I'm asking is this. I'm asking that you have your own experience. My experience is true for me, and other people will say, we've bought beautiful things for the people on our team and they've really appreciated it and it was great and we loved it. We bought them a car, or we sent them on holidays, or we bought them a beautiful watch and they really appreciated it. That hasn't been my personal experience, and I'm sharing that with you because wouldn't it be nice to be in a position, and I'm in my begging position. What if we give anonymously? What if we see somebody who really needs something and you know that they need it, and you deliver it to their home, or you put it in their bank account, or you give it to them, but they don't know that it came from you. So there's actually no appreciation from that person. You just do something for somebody without wanting anything in return because they don't even know that it came from you. It's an interesting thing to consider if you want to give great gifts. Now, I love giving. I love it. I love the feeling of giving things to people who don't have. But I've learnt the very, very hard way that if you give something to somebody that doesn't deserve it, or if you give something to somebody that didn't earn it, there's no joy in that for you or for them. There might be short-term joy for you, but long-term there's no joy because they don't appreciate it and it didn't really add any value to their life. So if you're in a position where you can give with joy, and of course give the way you want to give. It's your choice. But be aware that there are people that will take advantage of your generosity, and that makes me sad, but it also makes me very appreciative of those people because now I know who they are. And of course, I don't want to have people like that in my life. If you want to live your life to the max, live it your way, doing the things that you love to do, not to impress other people, but to express who you are. Could that be a great way to live your life to the max? Super duper doo, how are you? Living my life to the max.